Haven't done it in the car in a little while. Because, well, I did Ant-Man recently.
Yeah, but Ant-Man wasn't in the car, it was on the couch.
It was on the couch in the car. We just didn't want to, like, do it in the car for some reason.
I think it was late and we all
It
just
was late.
wanted...
We all wanted to, like, be on a nice, comfy couch.
And Brandon had his manga to read.
What was he reading that night?
I don't know.
He gave me, like, a big stack of stuff that he, like, picked up. Like, half of which I already knew about. Oh, one of them... We're getting off topic already. We haven't even told you the movie. Man from U.N.C.L.E. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Or as it should be said, The Two Men and a Woman from U.N.C.L.E. Based on a TV show I've never heard of.
It was my mom's favorite. She had a crush on Napoleon, who was Ducky in NCIS.
It's a spy thing, apparently from the 60s.
It was actually played straight in the 60s.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Nowadays, you can't really do straight spy.
It's Guy Ritchie. He doesn't do anything straight. Sherlock Holmes.
He made those movies?
Yeah, he was the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes. What Guy Ritchie's really good with is he's good with taking straight things and turning them into comedy action farces, which are brilliant and wonderful, but they're not the original.
After seeing something like Kingsman, which is a true farce of a spy movie.
It's more of a satire farce, but yeah. I get what you're saying.
Like, this is, like, it plays and makes little jokes, but it never, like, fully commits to it because it still wants to have a straightforward spy narrative.
To be fair, I think if we'd actually seen the show, which, by the way, my mom's favorite, I've never actually watched it.
Yeah.
I think we'd actually get some of the jokes more because we're not looking at it. Like that thing you said about the rocket, spoilers, that's something from the show, I know that much. So I think we might understand a little bit more.
What did I say about the rocket?
Them showing the explosion kind of sort of off screen.
No, I won't talk about that. I don't know. This was a movie that I think had a much lower budget than it looks like it did because it was very stylized. Like, it's not like Sin City territory where Sin City was like almost 100% filmed on fucking green screens, but they had like such a cool eye-catching style that no one gave a shit. No, they've got locations, they go to Rome, they've got like a real attention to period detail. But
the
like,
costumes.
Yeah, and the cars, that was a big one for me. They had like 60s like racers in the background, and that was just for like one shot.
Like
that stuff's not easy to get.
Italian 60s racers.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, I have to ask. We saw the Will Smith heist movie, the new one that came out. Not that good, actually.
Yeah, what the hell was that called?
It's very forgettable, but I brought it up for a reason. It has a big scene in Italy, and there are car races. What is it with Italy and car racing?
But couldn't tell you. Italy is not my bag. It's not my bailiwick.
I mean, I get that they really had the Grand Prix there, and that kind of started the European Grand Prix, but why is it nowadays in every movie featuring Italy, you're like guaranteed...
Is it just become a thing? Like, if you go to Japan, you have to, like, feature sushi? Is it just one of those things that they assume Americans know? Yeah. So they have to include it?
Like, that separates Italy from Spain, I guess, because France, you have to basically show the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. It's got that pseudo-touristy element where they're real...
Not us. And Chianti. He was drinking a Chianti.
Did that lady's underwear seem a little out of...
Modern?
Yeah.
Very. But
I mean, I'm not, like, an expert on 60s lingerie. No, that
was modern underwear.
But just from the lacing design on it, that shit's not easy to make.
It was too low.
It was too low?
She was wearing hip huggers.
Yeah. For a movie that was so attentive to detail, that stuck out.
Well, she was
also she had a nice ass.
Sex symbol.
She had a nice ass.
Yeah, but she was the only like actual sex symbol.
I don't know. Like I've really come to appreciate more that like anal scene at the end of Kingsman, because it is it's doing the same thing the whole movie does. It takes that woman seductive thing and just is like, oh, you like this? Shoves it in your face as hard as it can. And it was supposed to be shocking, so I appreciate it more. It was still in very bad taste, but that was the point.
It also takes the guy gets the girl and makes it quite literal.
And it's just so over the top. And this one was just played really straight. And it's like the way she walks away, she's clearly posing for the camera, because no one actually walks like that unless they know someone's watching.
It was implied she's posing for him, but in reality she's posing for the camera.
So, I don't know, that really just stuck out.
Male gaze
I'm really
best.
becoming sensitive to it, and that was just really heavy.
If anyone is in a class where they discuss male gaze and you're not quite sure what it is, YouTube that scene, and that's male gaze at its best.
That is, like, the scene, like, it makes no sense. Why would she be leaving the bed after sex wearing underwear? Because it's a movie and you can't actually show that.
But she's topless.
But she's topless and there's, like, a shadow covering. What do you want, phone, now? Nothing interesting? Okay, good. Just trying to pull up the previews here when we eventually... Anyway, Man from U.N.C.L.E. is just a 60s throwback spy movie. With some light comedy. It's a hell of a lot better than that Avengers thing from the 90s where, like, their whole idea of throwback spy comedy was just to have, like, this one lame joke about how British people are, like, deadpan. And this movie had that joke, but it had, like, actual interplay.
It had Hugh Grant making that joke.
Yeah.
By the way, I actually made a mistake in our last one. For Ant-Man, I said it was Colin Firth. It was Hugh Grant. I was going on a very, very, very short clip of him.
Henry Cavill, Superman.
Yes, he really didn't break out in America as Superman like people thought he would, so I'm hoping that this might be his big American...
You know, and I feel bad for him on that, because he's got the look, and I think he's got the acting, but oh my god, does Man of Steel give no one anything to work with?
He's a great actor! He's actually really good. He's not Benedict Cumberbatch good.
I saw Man of Steel. I didn't see it in theaters, but I caught it on TV later. And I was like, you know what? I feel like this guy, like, he's likable. I'm being drawn in when he's allowed to act and not just be, like, a symbol.
Watch him in The Tudors, and you can get a glimpse of what he's actually capable of.
I was really disappointed in Man of Steel.
Yeah, he was, and it was all the writer's fault. It's really not
I don't know why
fault.
anyone lets Zack Snyder write anything.
Uh,
I mean, it's like, what are his most famous movies? Dawn of the Dead, where he was ripping off the script of another movie.
I heard Dawn of the Dead was that Shaun of the Dead that everyone talks about?
Shaun of the Dead and Dawn of the Dead came out around the same time. Dawn of the Dead was a straightforward remake.
I don't watch horror movies.
Dawn of the Dead, it was sort of the progenitor, or one of the progenitors of the sprinting zombies. It was either it or 28 Days Later. I don't know which came out first. One of those came out first, but Dawn of the Dead really, like, or the remake of Dawn of the Dead, had just, like, obscenely fast and imposing zombies.
So that wasn't the one in the mall making fun of consumers and
that was a remake of the one in the mall making fun of consumers, and in the remake, all the making fun of consumer stuff got lost.
So everyone liked the original Dawn of the Dead, and the new one, people are kind of like...
It's fine. It's nothing special as a zombie movie, but it's got, like, Zack Snyder's fingerprints all over it. It's stylized. 300 is a stupid fucking movie, but oh my god, is it exactly what it's trying to be.
I am a Spartan. I have objections to that movie on moral, realistic, and seriously, they did not wear the hat.
So the problem with that was Frank Miller, though. He was adapting a comic book from a man who's insane. But the style was there, and so Zack Snyder is really good at style. So, yeah, put him behind the camera. Put him on directorial duty. Don't put him in charge of the writing, because he's bad at that. I don't know why anyone lets him write anything. And they're letting him do the Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice. So, anyway, we should really get back to... Here's the problem with Man from U.N.C.L.E. It's a good movie. It's not remarkable in any way. There's nothing remarkable about it.
I liked Kingsman, and by the way, I love British humor. That's something that most people don't like, but I love it. I actually liked this a little better than Kingsman. I thought the lines flowed better, and I really did like the interplay between the two actors and the three with Gabriella.
There was a lot of good character chemistry, and that really did carry the movie a lot, because there's really not much at the script level.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, they've got clever lines, but it's all in the delivery. That is the key with the British style of humor.
The truck scene.
There was like a really good boat chase scene that ends with a truck. Yes, a boat and a truck. And
No, he's in the truck and he looks over, Chianti, help myself. Ooh, sandwich.
Yeah, it's like someone, okay, so he does that, and then keys fall in his lap, and then he like puts on some nice music, and then he finds some wine, and then he finds a sandwich, and then he finds cheese, and
meanwhile,
his partner is in a boat chase with like machine guns.
To be fair, his partner did accidentally knock him out of the boat.
Yes, that was a boo-boo. But yeah, so the chemistry between those, I was kind of annoyed with the fact that they were both really similar on like the personality spectrum. Like they're pillars of masculinity and suaveness, and each their own. The difference between them is in difference of degrees mostly.
You're right.
Whereas normally in a pairing movie you want to get like people who butt heads in some sort of way. But in this, they substituted that for the fact that they are literally Russian and American agents who are actively working against each other while working together.
In the original, from my knowledge, Solo was always more of the ladies' man in a more gentle way. Although he was very harsh in his own way, too. He hid it with more gentility. And then Ilya was always kind of the muscle.
There's not a lot of difference, but they butt heads anyway because they have little chips on their shoulders about being better. But it never.
That was completely made up for the film. I'm 90%
Well, to be
sure
fair, this is an origin, and also I want to give them credit. Though they got chips on their shoulders, they never actually let it interfere with their work for the most part.
Well, the Italian count would disagree with you. Bathroom guy.
Oh, yeah, that guy. But that wasn't because he had a chip on his shoulder about who was a better spy.
Good point.
They avoided that, so there's no, like, infuriating thing. It's like, oh my god, you guys are messing up the plot, get over yourself. There was none of that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that could have gone wrong with this movie that didn't, and there's a lot of things that needed to go right that did, but there was just nothing electrifying, which is rather ironic considering that torture scene, which was oddly dark. And then ends with, like, a joke. Like, that torture scene was all over the map, tone-wise.
I thought it was incredibly well done, because it did bring back some of the very high anti-Nazi. And I think it did a good job of illustrating that the KGB were just as anti-Nazi as the West, which is something...
Well, because everyone frickin' hated the Nazis.
Well, no, a lot of people forget that the Russians hated the Nazis, too. But,
Can open some windows.
Yeah, that would be a
Boiling
good
in
idea.
here.
The only thing I really wish they would have included was you have two very strong alpha males. I wish they'd kind of included more of them coming together, because it almost seemed like they went from not really wanting to work together to working together seamlessly. And I kind of wanted more of them negotiating a little bit, but I still liked it. And
the reason
I'm
I'm just not electrified by this movie, and that the fact that it ends with I don't want to say a sequel bait, because they don't really set up, ooh, there's a bad guy we didn't get. No, they got them. This story is done, and the idea of them wanting more is just like, hey, you guys work for U.N.C.L.E. now. Please let us tell more stories, viewers. Please give us money. Which is a good way to do a sequel hook. That's a good way to do it, and I would be interested to see if they can, like, do another one that's, like really just lets us dig in and just have fun and not do all the setup stuff. But I have concerns that this is going to make enough money.
Well, it was a TV show, so they have plenty of plots to work with. I think it ran for 3 years.
That's pretty good in the 60s.
I think I really want to see it ran for 3 years. It was against Get Smart, which, by the way, I have seen that Get Smart movie. This was so much better.
I rather liked Get Smart as a comedy, but as a spy movie, it's crap.
It was, and as a movie
it has too much fun poking fun at spies to actually get down to much good spying.
Yeah, this one was just really... It was a good spy movie. It was a decent interpretation and modernization of the 60s show, and the actors had a lot of fun together, and you could tell. Oh, and by the way, the accents were actually not half bad.
Except for the girl, but I don't know what they thought. Like, she's supposed to be
British.
Russian, and she comes off...
she was supposed to be German.
Yeah, she was supposed to be German who speaks Russian and English, and, like, her accent...
She doesn't speak Russian just yet. They said on the end she was learning it, but yeah.
She didn't sound German.
She sounded German for all of about 5 minutes in the entire film.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill did very good with his accent. Whoever is his accent coach, hire him again.
And the other guy who's American, that was probably just like, I don't actually know what a Russian accent sounds like. I just know what a Russian accent in movies sounds like.
It was a very Americanized Russian accent. It was very clean.
Yeah, but he stuck with it. Like, he never, like, lost it. So
Jared Harris's American accent, though, was great. The American Boss. That's Jared Harris.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
His was great. No.
Damn, yeah, he nailed it. I thought he was, like, for sure, yo.
No, he's British. So, trailers?
Yeah, this is a good movie. If you've got spare time and spare cash, yeah, sure. I mean, there's still Mission Impossible. I've heard that's got better action scenes. There's still, actually, there's not a hell of a lot out right
If you're looking for a spy movie...
I guess they're straight out of Compton, but that's sort of a niche.
If you're looking for a spy movie that's not farcical, that's not... Like, some people thought Kingsman went too far, and I can see why they would think that.
But Kingsman was trying to be satire.
Well, I meant the whole exploding heads and the...
But that was so good.
It was, but if you're looking for something that's maybe a little more tame...
If you're looking for something that... If you just want a spy movie, like, if you just want something along the lines of James Bond...
That's not James Bond, and 4 hours long, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't James Bond, but... It's a different flavor of that same, like, idea.
It's a fun little 2-hour romp spy movie.
So, previews. The 33, otherwise known as, hey, Antonio Banderas is acting again, and not as a cat. I missed him. I've missed him.
Yeah, the miners.
Yeah, it's some miners down in South America or Mexico, Central America, I don't know.
I believe it was Chile, but it might have been...
Based on a true story?
It actually was based on a true story.
I'm not questioning that. I was just saying.
Well, yeah, but this one's actually supposed to be very realistic. The story was all over the news like a year, and I want to say a year and a half ago.
I feel like longer, but...
I do too.
I don't know. Yeah, they're stuck underground, and they have to go get them, and it's like a big, like, go save the people movie. If that's your thing, if that's your kind of... It's absolutely not my thing. I struggle with movies like that, because I know that they're either going to end happily or sadly, and either way is going to be unsatisfying. Because if it's a happy ending, I feel like, well, that was a piece of milk toast. But if it's a sad ending, and it's based on a true story, then I feel like shit. So I just tend to avoid movies like that, because they either give me no nourishment, or they taste terrible.
Fair enough.
Follow-up was The Intern. Interesting idea for a movie. You put Anne Hathaway as the CEO of some tech company, and then give her Robert De Niro as her intern. As some sort of seniors intern program.
It makes sense. A lot of people retire and then need like a little part-time job or want little part-time job to get them out of the house. And
it seemed really schmaltzy, but it's schmaltz in a way I've never seen before. Like, that's a legitimate chemistry pairing. I mean, they're clearly going for the pseudo-inspirational comedy thing, but I've never seen that combination before.
It looked really good.
It'd be like if you threw together, like, an Alaskan dog sledder with a Chinese fireworks guy and some sort of, like, save the dogs narrative in Alaska. That sounds really dumb, but I've never seen that before, and I'd just be interested to see how the hell they pull that off.
It's one of those, they're supposed to learn from each other, but it's a way that doesn't feel contrived to me. It feels like something
Because that's
works.
something you do get when you get really older actors. They can really easily fall into that, yeah, I'll teach you something, I'm old.
Also, it doesn't feel like either... This would be a great movie to phone your performance in because you know it's...
It's a free paycheck.
Right, but they're not phoning it in.
From the previews, it did not look like Robert De Niro was phoning it in.
Or Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway is very hard to tell because she is not a rangy actress. So there's a very thin line between her phoning it in and her giving her performance.
She seems like she was giving her performance, and it didn't seem like they were going to take this super melodramatic.
I did think it was interesting. Academy Award winner Robert De Niro, Academy Award winner Anne Hathaway, and I was like, I still think there's a bit of like a prestige difference between the two.
No, I'm not going to say the
You didn't
comment.
care for Les Mis?
I hated that film.
Oh man, you and Liliana are just gonna like disagree
Yes,
to hell and God on
we
that.
know. We've already had this debate.
Oh yeah, that was
3 times, I think.
Ant-Man night, right? Yeah.
It's just, if you're doing a movie version of the musical, do the musical everyone knows. If you're doing a movie version of the book, do whatever you want. Make it really cool. But they were doing a movie version of the musical, and this isn't what fans of the musical have been waiting for.
Liliana is a very surface viewer. She's a very surface viewer, and we are very much dig into the minutia viewers. And those two things do not discuss well together because the surface viewer is happy with the surface and doesn't think the things underneath are worth discussing because the surface was so pleasing.
I also know a few surface viewers who are major fans of the musical who were just like, but they cut the songs in half. And...
You know, I know there's no way I could not be a mechanics viewer, like but sometimes I do envy them.
Like my dad, I sometimes do envy him, and then I realize
being mechanics people doesn't necessarily make us happier. Okay?
It actually makes everyone around us very annoyed because we have
we don't like annoying our friends.
But we have to break things down. That's how we enjoy things.
It's how we think. Which is why when something like Mad Max comes out, and it's so good from top to bottom, it's so pleasing.
I haven't seen it yet because I had a horrid migraine the day that Dad... Oh, by the way...
Look, when I buy the DVD...
No, it's at the Dollar Theater, and the Dollar Theater's closing.
No, wait, it's showing still?
They're not going to take it away. They're closing on the 28th, so they're going to show it until it's gone. We're having movie nights basically all next week if you want to come one time.
I would love to go see that again on the big screen.
Okay.
I'm buying the Blu-ray because the Blu-ray is gonna. I hope it has some special features.
Just text me like what day's good for you.
Honestly, this week any day. I don't really like except for the weekend. I might have some plans for the weekend, but during the week I don't plan anything at night because I get home from work and I just don't really want to do much.
Well,
but yeah, I need to see that again on the big screen.
So if you live in Charlotte, hurry down to the Cinemark Theater in Matthews. They are closing, but they still have Mad Max and Insurgent and San Andreas and
Insurgent was not
Fast
bad.
7.
Insurgent was not bad.
I have problems with that book series.
Oh no! There are so many like it tries to be like the Giver book where it's mostly just sort of like a symbolic journey, but then it goes into all the goddamn minutia. And you can't do both. You cannot do both.
Do you know what happens at the end of the third book?
I do not know anything about the books. The first movie was very lame.
Yes.
And the second...
And long.
Yes. The second movie was actually reasonably entertaining.
The third movie, I'd be very, very interested to talk to you afterwards. Because I know what happens in the books.
It's not incest again, is it?
No, it's not incest.
Again, I have to specify that because City of Bones does incest.
Pseudo-incest. They don't actually
I don't
hook up
care.
after they
I
find
don't
out.
care. I don't care. You cannot tease incest like that in the main romantic character pairing of the series.
They're only following Star Wars example.
Star Wars was an exception because Luke and Leia never had any goddamn chemistry. Ever.
They wanted us to think they did.
They never did.
No, and City of the Mortal Instruments actually does get better.
I don't know if that was intentional, them not having any chemistry, but in the end, it actually kind of worked in their favor. It's like, mwah! Yeah, that was a totally passionless kiss that neither of them seemed at all into. Jeez, it's almost like they're related.
Just like everything else, Steven Spielberg kind of winged that one.
No, that was not Steven Spielberg.
You're right, that wasn't Spielberg.
George Lucas. Yeah, spoiler, the original Star Wars trilogy is magnificent completely by accident. Which actually, in my mind, makes it better.
Yeah, but please, future directors, don't pull a Lucas now.
Oh, we're almost out of, yeah, we've only got 4 minutes of storage space left.
All right, then.
Damn, I've got to clear out my camera. Okay, last one is We Are Your Friends, which I'm glad this is the last one, because this looked terrible. It's rich, attractive white people living in California.
Poor, they're not rich.
No, him... He gets a job where he hangs out with rich people. It tries to make you give a shit. It tries to make you give a shit about the plight of attractive white males living in California DJing and their struggle to have sex with smoking hot women and move past their poor background. No sympathy.
To be fair,
no fucking sympathy.
Zac Efron is trying to rehab his image as the frat party guy, as the responsible party guy. And hey, I can actually act. But if anyone likes MTV's Catfish, it was actually directed by Max. I like MTV's Catfish.
Terrible name for a movie. Terrible idea for a movie, as far as I'm concerned.
And if you're gonna do something like We Are the last word should fit the acronym, because it looks like they spent a lot of time coming up with the We Are Your, and then they just kind of went with Friends.
Waif. I don't know.
Anyway,
so,
I'm passing.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it maybe if it was free.
I'm going to see The Intern, though. I don't like romantic comedies, but
that's not a romantic comedy. It's going to have, like, the feel and structure, but it's not going to be a romantic
I know, but I'm going to actually like that one, I think. So.
All right, bye.